The Confederation War Council chamber fell silent as Commander Zixthor gestured toward the holographic display. Floating in the center of the circular room was the image of a human, a species the galaxy had dismissed as backwater primitives barely a century ago. This, Zixthor clicked his mandibles in disgust, is Marcus Chen, human gunnery specialist. The Terrans insist he join our strike team against the Varn Armada. Laughter erupted from the assembled species. General Corinth, whose people had mastered plasma warfare for 3 millennia, slammed his crystalline fist on the console. A human? Their weapons still use chemical propulsion. They're barely past kinetic warfare. Ambassador Sheelar's scales rippled with amusement. I've seen their firearms, crude metal tubes that spit solid projectiles. Charming relics, really. We should put them in a museum. Marcus stood in the corner of the chamber, arms crossed, jaw tight. He'd heard it all before. Ever since humanity had stumbled into galactic society, they'd been the joke, the species that arrived late to a party where everyone else had moved on to energy shields. Plasma cannons and molecular disruptors, Zixthor continued. The Varn Dreadnought Oblivion's Edge will arrive in 72 hours. Its shields can withstand sustained bombardment from our entire fleet. Our intelligence suggests— Give me one shot, Marcus interrupted. The chamber fell silent again, but this time with offense rather than anticipation. Excuse me? Zixthor's translator struggled with the human's audacity. One shot. That's all I need. Marcus stepped forward, his boots echoing in the vast chamber. Your fancy plasma cannons and particle beams? They're predictable. The Varn shields are calibrated to deflect energy weapons. They've been fighting you for decades. They know every frequency, every wavelength you can throw at them. Corinth leaned forward, his massive frame casting shadows across the holographic display. And you think your primitive chemical weapons can succeed where our advanced technology fails? Marcus smiled, a predatory expression that made several council members uncomfortable. You ever hear of the 50 caliber anti-material rifle? Been around on Earth for over 200 years. Simple, reliable, and completely outside any parameters your shields were designed to handle. Kinetic weapons? Sheelar's laugh was like wind chimes in a hurricane. Our shields deflect meteorites traveling at relativistic speeds. Yeah, Marcus nodded. But those meteorites don't have armor-piercing, depleted uranium cores. And they definitely don't have tungsten penetrators designed to punch through 6 inches of hardened steel. He pulled out a single bullet from his pocket, massive by human standards, tiny compared to the weapon systems being discussed. This is a custom load, 40 grams of magnetically aligned tungsten carbide in a sub-caliber sabot, backed by enough chemical propellant to push it at 2,000 meters per second. Zixthor examined the primitive ammunition with his compound eyes. This is what you propose to use against a capital ship? Not quite, Marcus's grin widened. See, while you've all been playing with energy weapons, humanity's been perfecting something you forgot about. Ballistics. We've had 200 years to miniaturize rail acceleration tech. My rifle uses a hybrid system. Chemical propellant for the initial launch, then electromagnetic acceleration in the barrel. Exit velocity? Try 8,000 meters per second. The council members exchanged glances. Even Corinth's perpetual scowl wavered. But it's still just a solid projectile, Sheelar protested weakly. Exactly. Marcus loaded the holographic tactical display, showing the Varn Dreadnought's schematics. Your scans show their shield generators here, here, and here, all designed to disperse energy across the entire field. But kinetic energy? That's focused, concentrated. And at the velocities I'm talking about, this bullet carries more kinetic energy than most of your plasma torpedoes, all of it focused on an impact point smaller than your fingernail. He zoomed in on a section of the ship. The Varn are arrogant. They've never fought kinetic weapons at these speeds. Their armor is designed to ablate energy weapons, not to stop hypersonic penetrators. I put this round through their reactor shielding, and the ship tears itself apart from the inside. Zixthor's mandibles worked silently for a moment. You sound very confident for someone whose species is considered primitive. Primitive? Marcus's voice hardened. My people fought 2 world wars with chemical weapons before we even left our planet. We've spent 10,000 years perfecting the art of making things go fast and hit hard. You know what the problem with you advanced species is? You got so focused on complexity that you forgot about effectiveness. Sometimes the old ways work because they're simple, brutal, and unexpected. 72 hours later, Marcus floated in the void. tethered to a stealth shuttle 8,000 kilometers from the Varn dreadnought. His custom rifle, a masterpiece of human engineering that looked like a relic to galactic eyes, was braced against his shoulder. Through his scope, enhanced with borrowed Confederation targeting tech, he could see the massive warship's heat signature. The Confederation fleet engaged, plasma fire lighting up the darkness as the Varn shields flared and held. Just as predicted, Marcus's breathing slowed. His finger rested on the trigger. In his earpiece, he heard Zixthor's voice. "Human, you have one opportunity. Make it count." "Copy that." Marcus's crosshairs settled on the precise coordinates, a point on the hull where 3 shield generators created a momentary interference pattern every 17 seconds. His suit's computer counted down 3, 2, 1. He squeezed the trigger. The recoil, even in zero gravity, pushed him backward against his tether. The rifle's hybrid system flashed bright enough to temporarily blind his scope's optics. For 3 seconds, nothing happened. Then the Varn dreadnought's aft section erupted in a chain of explosions. The tungsten penetrator had punched through the shields in the microsecond gap, through 20 meters of armor like it was paper, and directly into the main reactor core. The ship didn't just explode, it split, tearing itself in half as its own power systems went critical. The Confederation fleet stopped firing, every ship's crew staring at their sensors in disbelief. Marcus chambered another round and spoke into his comm. "Target neutralized. Ready for target 2 if you've got one." In the War Council chamber, Corinth stood slowly, his crystalline features reflecting the destruction on the holographic display. "I believe," he said quietly, "we may have underestimated the humans." Zixthor's mandibles clicked in what might have been respect. "Remind me never to call them primitive again." Ambassador Sheelar's scales had lost their amused shimmer. She was already drafting a request to the human government, not for their ships, not for their soldiers, but for their gunsmiths. Somewhere in the void, Marcus Chen reloaded his rifle and smiled. They could keep their plasma and their particle beams. Humanity would stick with what worked, making things go very, very fast and hit very, very hard. After all, you didn't need to be advanced to be effective. You just needed to remember that sometimes the simplest solution was a bullet.